What's good is Diani. Today I'm going to speak about how I got flown out all the way to England from the Netherlands by my very first client. So, for those who didn't know, back in the days, I used to have this email writing service for influencers. And in March of 2023, I reached out and got my very first client. And I won't say his name because I don't know if he would like that and if he would mind. So, we would just keep that anonymous for now. But what happened was I sent him a DM on Twitter, which was weird because he was never really on Twitter. He told me afterwards and never replied to his DMs on Twitter and la da 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 da. But it was great because he responded to me. I shot him a message like, "Yo, your last thread about X, Y, and Z really resonated with me, or I really liked it, something along the lines of that." And basically, I asked him like, "Do you use these posts as emails?" And he told me, "Nah, man." I'm like, "Okay, well, are you interested in doing this?" He said, "Yeah, I'm interested." Like it was pretty cringe if I look back at it, like how I texted with this dude, but it worked. So we booked this meeting. I tried to get to him. He stopped responding. I had to follow up with him. Stopped responding. I had to follow up again with him. And then finally, we booked the call. So I was shaking in my timbers or shaking in my boots because this was my very first sales call and I was a nobody. And this dude was pretty big. He had about 560,000 followers on Instagram. So you can know, like, for me as an 18-year-old kid who just got into business, that's a pretty huge and scary deal. I wanted to close him on something like 500 to 750 bucks a month, but that did not went that way at all. During the call, he told me like, "Bro, I'll tell you right now that I will not pay you. I will take you on. I will not pay you. But what I will do is I'll get you on hook with my guys and I will kind of mentor you and help you along the line. Because obviously you're new to business and I can tell that you're very eager and that's why I'm going to take you on and I'm willing to help you with that." And I said, "Yup, let's do that." You know, my ego wasn't hurt, nothing at all, because look, I got free mentoring and I knew that at the end of the day, I was not in the season of earning money yet from my business. I was in the season of learning. And that's exactly what I did. I learned as much as I could in that time. I learned so much about content, social media marketing, being an influencer, and basically using your name and your likeness for generating revenue. From March all the way up until December, many things happened. We got out of touch for no reason, just the contact broke, blah 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 blah. And note for you guys, in December 13th was the day that I was going to Manchester. So I think it was August was when we decided, like, okay, we got back in touch. And of course, during all of these periods of time, I was staying consistent and loyal with the newsletter. I was writing in his name, and about 3,500 people read every single newsletter, and there were 10,000 people signed up to it. Well, I was continuing on nurturing these people and sending them these emails, even though I was not getting paid at all. Like, I did not get paid for like those entire 9 months. And truly, I never really made any, big life-changing amounts of money during that time at all. But what I did do is I did make my first few $100 online, which when you make your first money online, it is absolutely life-changing, even though it's not a life-changing amount yet. And that's solely because you get to open your eyes and see that, oh my days, this is real. In August, we decided, like, we're going to do this thing. So we hopped on a call. He shared his screen and basically we booked the time and date and the flight for me to go from the Netherlands, the Amsterdam airport called Schiphol, to Manchester airport. So while looking, there were no direct flights from the Netherlands to Manchester or England. So we had to take a transfer flight, which raised a lot of suspicions with everyone I told about this thing. Because, yeah, of course, it is weird that when you go to England, there should be direct flights, but there weren't. So people were already calling it sketchy. And, I was there while we were booking the flight and we looked for direct flights, but there just wasn't any. So from my mother to my girlfriend to my brothers to people I knew to my friends, they were all calling me crazy for willing to do this because it all sounded so sketchy. They were telling me you're gonna get robbed, you're gonna get killed, you're gonna get kidnapped, you're gonna, they were calling out all these crazy things that were gonna happen to me. But I ignored all of that because I knew, like, by the most people it was out of love, because hey, this is a sketchy thing and I don't want you taking part of it. But I stood my ground. I said, look, I'm 19 years old. I know where I'm going in life, and if I want to become the person who I want to be, I need to take this risk. Even though I will get robbed or whatever, I need to take this risk. Another funny thing is I had about $200. I had about $200 in my bank account at this time. So the day of flight appeared. I had a very early flight. It was around 8 to 9 a.m., I believe. So my mother dropped me off at the airport at around 6. I came there. I waited. I actually, in the Netherlands, we have this very good waffle type snack. It's called stroopwafels. So I bought that for him, put it in my bag, and, waited for my flight to happen. Flight went all good, happened. I went from Amsterdam to Barcelona in Spain, waited a few minutes because it was actually a very quick transfer. And then ultimately flew back to not to the Netherlands, to Manchester. So when I arrived there, I called him up like, yo, bro, I'm here. Where you at? He told me like, yo, I'll be there in like 40 minutes. It's a 40-minute drive because I just got off a meeting and I still need to eat. And I was like, okay, well, that's kind of odd. But okay, cool. So he told me like, no, never mind. Just take the train. I think that would be faster for both of us and I'll just meet you in the middle. I said, sure. It was kind of sketchy because, hey, you were supposed to come and pick me up. I'm in this completely different country and I've never been here. I know no one, but at least I spoke the language. I walked up to the train station, which I could not find at first, but I found it eventually. I booked the train ticket, which was funny. I kept this train ticket for a few months afterward because it was like a memorial piece for me. So I took the train, nothing weird happened on the ride. And I arrived there. I called the dude up like, yo, I'm here. I'm texting him. No response yet. So I was just walking around because, what else am I supposed to do? I don't got nowhere to stay yet. I don't know where I'm going. And then he called me up. He's like, yo, I'm here. Send me the location. And I walked up to his place and there he was. I wasn't really starstruck, honestly, because I've spoken to this guy for a long time, but it was kind of like, this is real. He was standing there and all I could think about was, I hope this won't be awkward, because if we don't like each other in person, this would be a very awkward week. But we dapped each other up. We went to the car. I got in. And it's funny because in England, they have the wheels. So the steering wheel, they have it on the opposite side. So he told me, yo, hop in. He opened the door for me and he walked to the other side. And I said, yo, bro, thanks for opening the door, but I don't have a driver's license. He said, oh, really? Cool. And he hopped in the car. So I was like, okay, that's weird. So I hop in the car and I realized like, oh yeah, wait. Of course, the steering wheels are on a different side, So I was feeling stupid already. And he told me like, bro, haven't you got your driver's license yet? I was like, yeah, I know it's kind of random that I told you this, but I thought because in my country, the wheels are on the different side. It's like, oh, word. Well, we kind of went on babbling about driver's license and about just life, how's it going, stuff like that. So the next day we woke up and we just got to work. This was literally every day for us. We woke up, we got to work, we went to the gym, went to the store, ate, work, seminar, sleep, repeat. And of course, a few different things happened during the time. Like he told me a lot of things about our faith, which is Christianity. He taught me how to pray. He shared all these stories about God and Jesus and things from the Bible that I haven't really came across while reading yet because I wasn't that far at the time. And I was truly happy with this experience because it was life-changing. He taught me how to pray well, and things like that. On one of the final days, we met up with one of his clients who paid him like $4,000 or something. And, we just had a chat. He was in the town at the same time as us. So We had a chat. We went to eat at Nando's. It was my very first time there, which Nando's is nice. I suggest if you ever go to England, try Nando's. Shout out to Nando's. This is not sponsored, but you know, Nando's is good. Nando's is good. So this client, he hooked us up with tickets to this Everton versus Fulham game in Liverpool the very next day. And the next day arrived. So we took an Uber all the way to Liverpool because that is where the game happened. I believe it was like a semi-final or something like that. So it was a pretty big game as well. It was my very first football game I attended because I've never been to one yet. And it was weird, man. I remember these bathroom stalls is where you have to stand peeing, but there's no, space in between. Just everyone stands shoulder to shoulder and pees against this silver thing. It was so weird to me at that time. But I had to take a leak, so I did my thing. But just watching the entire game and the whole process, it was so surreal for me because I was like, man, I literally took this risk and people told me that I was going to get killed. People told me I was going to get kidnapped, and now I'm here watching a football game, having the time of my life, working each and every day, going to the gym, praying. It was surreal. Fulham won, which was the team I was rooting for because, hey, that was the guy. I don't know. My friend was for that team, so I was for that team as well. And they won in penalties. Whole crowd went wild. All these people yelling at each other. There were fireworks being thrown, and it was a movie. After that, we took the Uber ride back home and went to this burger place, ate some, and that was it. And at one of the final days, we went and did some VR, which was fun. We shot some virtual zombies. And, I was kicking my guy's butt. if you know, you know. And, no, I wasn't. So after that, man, just did the same old, did some work, watched the seminar, went to sleep. Oh, no, wait. We did not go to sleep yet because this was actually our final full day together. And we were supposed to shoot content for the next 3 months during this complete week. But we just couldn't get to it because we were doing different types of work. He had sales calls, things like that going on. So at the final day, we were both exhausted, tired because we had a full day of work behind us. And we just had to get the recordings done. We just had to shoot. So I believe we stayed up for, like 3 to 4 more hours and shot as much content as we could. So I was supposed to have all these scripts ready, but they were kind of rubbish. So what we did is we winged it. I just asked him a question. He answered it, straight recording after recording after recording. It was so much things that we did. So we shot enough content for the next few months and we finished that, went to sleep. And the next day, I was supposed to go home. He was supposed to drop me off at the airport, but he had another sales call booked, so he could not. So he did call me an Uber, walking from the hotel with all my stuff. He prayed for me, which was absolutely lovely. I love him for that. I thank him for that. I thank him for the entire experience because something that I forgot to mention was that he actually took me to church on the Sunday the very first time, which is another story for a different day because I don't want to make this too long. But anyways, he prayed for me. I hopped in the Uber, talked with the Uber a bit, and then, took the flight back home from Manchester to Barcelona at first. My flight got delayed by a few hours, so I had to basically wait a few hours in Spain, and I almost fell asleep. I was so damn tired, but I still managed to stay awake. And then I took the plane back from Spain, Barcelona to the Netherlands, Amsterdam. And this almost resulted in like a near-death experience, actually, because at that day in the Netherlands, it were terrible winds going on. Like the weather was just horrible and I had to fly back at that time. And that was actually why my flight was delayed, because of all the extreme winds in the Netherlands. So landing this plane was a complete mission for the pilot. We were landing, we had so much turbulence, the plane was all shaking and moving, and the way we landed, I tell you, it was like boom, so hard. Like I felt it. I felt the whole plane moving to the side. Like it was crazy. But still, God helped us, stay alive and help the pilot land the plane. And, Thank God for that, because that could have went horrible. My biggest fear was that the plane was gonna land and just explode, like I've seen 1,000 times in GTA. But anyways, it did not. And this was my story of how I got flown out to England by my client, completely for free. I had 200 euros in my $200 in my account, nothing more. So the moral of the story that I want to give you is that you need to take that risk. Even though it seems scary, even though you're going to a place or doing something that you've never done before, you need to do it. Of course, the choice is yours, and that's only if you want to, live the life that you're actually dreaming of. But if you don't go after it, and if you don't take that risk, and if you don't do that scary thing, don't come and complain about how things are not working out. God bless you.